About 1 billion people worldwide, 1/6 of the world's population, are victims of a plethora of diseases known as neglected tropical diseases, NTDs. The burden of such diseases is heavily tilted against poorer communities of the world, which are mainly found in sub-Saharan Africa and other third world nations. Some of the victims of NTDs are found in marginalized communities and therefore do not have the necessary access to diagnosis and effective treatment. For the diseases to be eliminated, there is the need for a holistic approach of mitigation that takes account of the marginalized victims who are hard to reach and may be responsible for the reintroduction of the diseases into their communities. The term NTD is a nomenclature for a plethora of chronic and old diseases that are hard to cure. These are mostly parasitic, bacterial and viral infections which cause severe or long-term deformities, chronic disabilities and social stigmatization to their victims. Some of these diseases include lymphatic filariasis or LF, schistosomiasis and onchocerciasis. There are those infections that are from soil hermits such as ascaris, whipworm, hookworm and trachoma. While they may vary in terms of their effects on human health, their common denominator is their prevalence infections in places or countries of abject poverty or conflicts. They are in places of poor sanitation, contaminated water bodies where insects and other disease vectors compete with humans for living. St. Andrew's Clinics for Children, STAC, is a Scottish-based charity with its Ghanaian affiliate STAC Ghana as an NGO that is helping to improve children's healthcare in Ghana. STAC Ghana has been at the fore of the battle against intestinal worm and other parasitic infections of children in the Bongo district, which it has adopted for a pilot study into the healthcare challenges of children in Ghana. In particular, STAC Ghana is focusing its attention on out-of-school children who seem to be marginalized in various mitigation campaigns as they fall outside the remit of the health authorities and are also deemed to be hard to reach.
St. Andrew's Clinic for Children in Ghana, or STAC Ghana for short, has a mission in Bongo district, and that is primarily to address parasitic disease infections, especially the neglected tropical diseases in children in Bongo. The second one is to look out for solutions to other major health problems and also community mobilization, because we know that most of these interventions can only be solved if we mobilize the communities and in so doing take intervention measures which invariably will enter the control of these diseases.
Unlike school children who could be well organized and accounted for in such mass drug administration MDAs because they are in a regimented environment that they could be assessed whenever there comes the need to do so, the out-of-school children are less organized and outside any regimented scheme. So, they become hard to reach and thus marginalized in such campaigns. These children can be found in the fields, isolated cottages, loitering about or accompanying their parents and carers to the marketplaces. These kids, when they become infected, may be responsible for the reintroduction of the diseases back into the community as they live, play, and mingle with those children who may have been covered by any of such MDAs. The Bongo district of the Upper East region of Ghana has one of the poorest communities in Ghana. The district is home to about 84,500 people according to the population census of 2010. Children account for about 55,000 of this number. School children number about 37,000. Most children in the district are at risk from intestinal worm infections and other parasitic infections including bilharzias. The challenges of mitigating these infections are exacerbated by the presence of out-of-school children in the district who are deemed to be hard to reach and could be responsible for the reintroduction of the diseases back into the communities. The prevalence of soil hermits in the districts breed intestinal worms that infect children as they engage in playful activities in the bare soil and also as they go about barefooted. Bilharzias, which is also prevalent in the district, is due mainly to contact with water bodies that breed the Bilharzias parasites hosts in the bare irrigation canals of the district. The presence of out-of-school children in the district exacerbates the mitigation of these diseases, as these category of children who may be at risk are often overlooked in any mass drug administration MDA programs and as such become responsible for the reintroduction of the disease into the community. In the case of dental fluorosis, such children are not even noticed through the mainstream diagnosis, as they are not the easiest persons to locate.
The coverages, we compared 2011 to 2012. In 2011, we recorded 93.7%. And then in 2012, we had 85.3%. In 2011, it was only three districts in the region that carry out these activities. And it is, I think, we sort of captured children who were not within our catchment area during that time, because we also covered the out-of-school children. And then this year too, I think the low coverage was as a result of the challenges that we faced. The drug supply was not adequate. And for that matter, we left most of the KG, we left all the KGs in our district because the drug was not adequate to cover them.
Stack Ghana volunteer teams paid courtesy calls on two of the community's chiefs to announce their presence in the communities, their mission, and request for their support in getting access to the out-of-school children. The encounters with the chiefs of the communities were very cordial and helpful, as the team was well received and given the assurance of their support in executing their role in deworming the children of the Bongo district.
Those days we were not able to identify why or the causes of those malaria, bilharzia. But with the intervention of your group, I realized that all those things are being caused by a bacteria called snail that produces those bacteria into water. When we drink, then we get such a reaction on the children.
As part of its community engagement, Stack Ghana uses local FM radio stations to communicate and organize communities that it works with. This time in the Bongo district, Stack Ghana arranged for a panel radio discussion at the Guruni Style FM, a local community radio station, to discuss the deworming program with representatives of the Ghana Education Service and Ghana Health Service. The discussions centered on the method and reasons for the deworming program for the children of Bongo communities. Stack Ghana emphasized on its role of working with the out-of-school children of the district who were deemed to be hard to reach. Stack used this platform to advise parents and wards of out-of-school children on the program and to remind them of the need to make their wards available for the treatment program. Listeners of the radio discussion program called into the discussion either to contribute or to ask questions about the program.
The problem with reaching out-of-school kids is that they are in communities or either in the farms, and also it takes a lot of mobility. But we've solved that. We solved that by using the FM stations and announcing the dates and the communities that will be conducting the exercises. So it helps a lot in mobilizing out-of-school children to various vantage points for the treatment to be done.
In our communities, we are now used to radio because of the local music they play. And it is normally evening time that we listen to the music. And that was the time the presenters normally played their music to attract the listeners to pay attention to what they are going to broadcast. And it was based on that we were able to capture the children, those in school and those who are not even in school.
In the whole region, there were a whole lot of stories, misconceptions about the mass drug administration. And so I believe that because of that, most of the parents with the out-of-school children entertain fears as to sending their children to the schools for the development. But I think on the whole, they did well.
Riding on motorbikes, the STAC team embarked on house-to-house scouting for out-of-school children to treat. The terrain is in such a state that only motorbikes and foot patrols could access the tracks leading to the cottages. They were really hard to reach as they could not be congregated into specific and designated places where they could be easily reached. The dwellings in the community are sparsely situated, requiring on the average about 15 to 20 minutes locating and treating a child. Some of the children were found inside their cottages, and others were found in the fields, and others too were found by the roadsides, moving from one place to another. The children who were accessed by the team were invited for measuring and given the appropriate dosage of deworming drugs, a combination of paracetamol and albendazole.
We think that emphasis should also be placed on out-of-school children. In Bongo, the out-of-school children have a lot more, from our studies, a lot more of intestinal mansoni than their counterparts in school. So this demands special attention, and that especially underlines or underpins our strategy for working with the Ghana Health Service.
Volunteers were trained in the various communities to identify families with out-of-school, sensitize them that the exercise was coming on, and even going as far as accompanying some of the out-of-school children to the schools where they are given the drugs. And then these volunteers also will go back later to the families to find out if the children who were those had problems, and those that had problems were accompanied to the clinic for free treatment.
There were challenges facing the deworming program, such as inadequate supply of drugs, lack of tape measures for the teachers to use, and lack of trained personnel to administer the drugs. Fortunately for STAC Ghana, their technician is qualified to administer the drugs. STAC Ghana managed to secure some additional drugs to do their campaign on deworming out-of-school children.
The arrival of material was a problem. The quantities issued out was a problem. Some of the measuring tapes, schools did not have them, so that created the problem in the deworming exercise.
The two-day deworming campaign, although had some challenges, was generally a success. About 500 out-of-school children in the Bongo district were located and treated by volunteers. The other success of the campaign was immediate, as some school children got relief from worm infections. Other ancillary disease symptoms on children disappeared with the treatment.
With the drug, it is not for the deworming alone, but it has cured even a lot of diseases. From my experience, some children were complaining of stomach ache always, headache always, but now, from my experience, it has just cured like that.
The general goal of reaching out to the hard-to-reach was to cover the entire children population, as any leakages in treatment was bound to render the whole exercise ineffective.
In future, we need to give enough education to the community to bring those children who are not in school to participate in the deworming exercise.
I will take this opportunity to plead with the authorities concerned to source fundings for you people to go around to where we feel we have not yet reached. Not my community alone, but there are other communities far. I think they also have the same thing. And children move like, they move like the snails themselves. they can also go far to play. Or even in various markets, a market like Bolga, the mother can even send a child to town, or the man can send the child to town. And children are such that when they meet themselves, they play. So it is good that if we're able to get the fundings, you spread this thing, not my community alone, but other nearby communities. I think this will help us eradicate this thing completely.
In future, more volunteers should be trained, and then the training should come well ahead of time, because sometimes when the information comes late, people tend to say, if this thing were real, why they didn't tell us earlier on? We are most grateful to Star Ghana for coming to support us, and that our doors are open for more support. We are ready to collaborate further with you, not only in mass drug admissions, but other activities on health.
We think that come next year, 2013, we will have more recruits, we'll have more teachers recruited as volunteers, who will then be able to help us achieve even better coverage.
STAC, with its experience in working with the community in getting access to the out-of-school children, is doing great in the Bongo district to improve on child health care in the Bongo district.